everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're having a look at a devblog for the next major update of War Thunder, and this one is a double header. It's Rank 8 aircraft coming, and then also the A-6E TRAM Intruder, which is going to be a premium vehicle coming in at Rank 7 for the US. If you want to pre-order the A6E, remember to use my partner code in the description of the video so you can get 3% off, support the channel, and also get my decal in the game. And what we'll talk about in this video is not just the A6E, but also the addition of Rank 8. I know a lot of people are hyped about these things, and as usual, we'll go through it and what is said. As always, let's get into it. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video. So in the next major update, they are bringing in Rank 8 for aircraft. It also says it will include 4th generation jets and aircraft of comparable combat efficiency. Now remember, this doesn't mean that every nation will get a Rank 8 off the bat. It also doesn't mean that every nation will get a Rank 7 premium. It says almost every gaming nation will also receive a Rank 7 premium aircraft to boost progress of any single plane in a nation tech tree. Another thing to note is ranks don't mean anything. I know a lot of people will try and tell you that it's an era thing. A lot of people will tell you it's a history thing. And Gaijin, even in this post, are trying to push that idea. It isn't. All ranks are is a research tool when it comes to the game. So if technically, when it comes to War Thunder, you actually want less ranks because you will have less efficiency now with Rank 6 vehicles because they won't be able to efficiently research the new Rank 8s. What they'll do is they'll take a bunch of Rank 7s that already exist in the game, bump them up to Rank 8, and then add a few shinies on top, which is what happens every time. But there'll be some cool shinies, which is really nice, but just understand, every time a new rank gets added, it's not really something to celebrate, because it actually hurts people overall when it comes to their general research. Another thing to note is also the fact that they talk about the idea of 4th generation jets, which is completely fine, but I will like to point out that Gaijin have never actually defined what they mean by 4th generation jets. And I know that may sound a bit weird, but understand that different places actually define generations of jets differently. If you don't believe me, just type in generations of jets, open up the Wikipedia link and scroll down and you'll find yourself a wonderful table where different people, different organizations, and also different nations, such as the Chinese, actually define them differently. So it would be really nice if we could actually get a statement about what their generations are, what they see them as, so therefore we can kind of plan ahead and understand what's going on, instead of it being used as a marketing trick, which unfortunately it is nowadays. The history of the A-6E TRAM Intruder starts off in the aftermath of the Korean War, where the United States concluded that its air support availability heavily depended on fair weather systems, as the primary strike aircraft at the time was the piston-powered A-1 Skyraider. As a result, the Navy issued a set of requirements for a new all-weather strike aircraft in 1955, to which 8 aircraft manufacturers submitted a total of 11 design proposals by 1957. Among the submissions, Grumman's proposal for a twin-engine turbojet aircraft was selected as the winner of the competition in 1958. The first prototype of the aircraft, designated YA-2F1, took to the skies in 1960, with the first production aircraft entering service in 1963 under the official designation A-6 Intruder. Although the A-6 Intruder was among the most advanced aircraft at its time due to its sophisticated avionics, it was also subject to frequent upgrades. As a result, a multitude of variants were subsequently developed throughout its service life. Among the later variants was the A-6E TRAM, introduced in 1978. Apart from featuring improved electronics, it also incorporated the TRAM, Target Recognition Attack Multi-Sensor Pod, under its nose, allowing the installation of more advanced suspended weaponry. Although only 70 were built anew, most older A6E airframes were converted to this standard. In general, the A6 Intruders took part in many conflicts over their 30-year service career. starting their service by taking part in the Vietnam War of the 1960s. The A-6 Intruders also took part in other conflicts during the 70s and 80s, as well as in the Gulf and Balkan Wars in the 90s. Overall, close to 700 Intruders were produced before the aircraft was officially decommissioned from service in the late 1990s. So the A-6E TRAM will be coming in the next major update, and as a pre-order premium, it actually has some pretty good stuff. So you have the vehicle itself, which is going to be a Rank 7. This will mean that it will be able to research the whole of the American aviation tech tree. You also get 2,000 Golden Eagles, premium account for 15 days, a pre-order bonus of the Cool Hand title, and also you get a pre-order bonus of a tricolor camouflage as well, which is quite nice. And what this is coming in as is a very good multi-purpose vehicle. It's another one of the strike aircraft which also packs a punch in the air, which seems to be a standard for a lot of these vehicles nowadays. The Su-25 and the A-10 have kind of set the bar. Now other things are going to follow, and should be kind of interesting. Another thing is, since there is a ton of variants of the A6, we could easily see one in the tech tree, just like you have the A-10A early and also the A-10A late, which I would be very surprised if the A6 doesn't follow. We also knew the A6 was coming for a long time, we just didn't know what form, because in the files they just kept putting stuff in, such as the cockpit kind of textures and all of that. So it's kind of interesting to see. The vehicle itself does not have technically a primary armament. It doesn't have a gun which is attached to it. Instead, you are wholly reliant on the hardpoints that the vehicle has. And the vehicle has 5 hardpoints, and it can mount a ton of different ordnance on it. If you're looking for an air-to-air roll, it can carry 20mm gun pods and also AIM-9L sidewinders. So, the all-aspect sidewinders, which are really good on a lot of the vehicles in the game, such as the Harrier GR7 and also the A-10. And I'm sure we'll get more and more of those vehicles with those missiles very soon. Then, if you have a look at its ground ordnance, it has a bunch of conventional bombs, so dumb bombs, all up to 2,000 pounds. It can carry stuff like 28 500s at one time, or 13 1000. So if you really want to completely decimate an area, you're able to. I'm sure it'll have all of the systems on top of it as well. It also can carry FFARs and Zuni rockets, as well as incendiary bombs. And then the kicker to this thing is it does actually have a laser targeting pod. And not just a laser targeting pod, a thermal one, which will probably work very similar to the Jaguar A, which is a very deadly machine in ground forces. This means that it can carry guided bombs and also laser guided bombs. So GBU-10s, GBU-12s, and also the GBU-16 at Paveway 2. So if you're a person who plays a lot of ground and you want a vehicle at the higher echelon which is going to be very useful for you, this is one of those which is definitely worth having a look at. The only question is that the article itself doesn't talk about it actually using Mavericks or anything like that, so I don't know how its kind of extended weaponry is going to be, but the vehicle itself has access to so much different stuff, and the A6E standard does actually have access to Mavericks, so I feel like this one probably should too, so we'll have to see what goes on with that. It overall has a capacity of carrying up to nearly 4,000 pounds of ordnance, so this thing is going to be very much nuts. It also can carry mines, so we'll have to see if they add those in, because those are terrors at the lower tiers as well. But this is your perfect CAS aircraft. It is obviously the standard American one, so it has access to just pretty much everything you would want in terms of systems and terms of use. It is a modernized version of an American one, so it has a ton of stuff on it as well. And also it is for the best aviation tech tree in the game. This one will just be really nice. It might be let down a little bit by its speed. It could only go 1,000 kilometers an hour in its top speed with its turbojets, but generally that's not going to be a huge issue, especially since it should be a very maneuverable vehicle as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing actually handles in the game. I think it's going to be really good as a CAS vehicle. Not so sure about its air performance though. But then again, if you have really good sidewinders, anything's possible. You know, the Yak-38 tells you that with its R60s, and also the Su-25 and A-10 when it comes to aerialistic. As always though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Forge, Siegebreak, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, and also Sem Arslan, Wilkski, Uncle Bean, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.